First ticket here is I need access to shared drive. You will get these type of tickets during help desk, and there is a central location for a shared drive. It's simply a place where you can store your data on the network or a cloud, if you will. But it's also a place where a group of people can share a single drive. So you'll have multiple people that have access to that one drive. And in this case, here it says I need access to the G drive. So this is something you will get. User will not be very specific. They just know it's called the G drive, but there is definitely more to it because you would have to know the exact path of the G drive. First of all, to give them access to it, meaning that they can see it, they can log into it, they can access it, view it, not access as in what user may consider as in adding the network drive, which we will show as well. And that's the second part of it. We're going to add the network drive to their computer so that way they can quickly access it. All right, before we do anything, I'm going to assign a ticket to myself, and make sure you do that as well when you're working tickets. All right, so we're going to reply to the customer and say, hello, can you please tell me. Now, first of all, introduce yourself. This is Irvin with Help Desk. Can you please tell me the name of the shared drive? And given an example, for example, say this. It may look like, or may look something like this. And then just say, for example, backspace, backspace, or not backspace, a backslash, backslash, which indicates network, and say shared drive or something like that. So this is just an example of what a shared drive, or basically what it is most of the time, is just a shared folder on a server that people can access. So it will look something like this. It will have two backslashes. It may have a domain name ahead of it. For example, it could be, kobuman.com or something like that. But to keep it simple, let's just leave it like this because that's the example we're going to work with. And if they come back and say, oh, I don't know what that is, and you can say, if you don't know it, please ask a coworker for a screenshot of the drive. So what we're doing here, we're asking them, if most people don't know it. Most people don't know what the actual path for the drive that they're trying to access. Most people don't know what that is. They just know it's called the G drive. I don't know. I click on G and it opens it up, right? So if they don't know it, they can literally ask a coworker for a screenshot of the drive, and then they can send you a screenshot. And when they open up the screenshot, they can just take a screenshot of this. And for example, if that's the G drive here, they take a screenshot of this. I don't know. Let's, what is the snipping tools, what I usually use. Screenshot of this. And they send it to you. So now you're looking at this screenshot. You can now see what the path is for that drive. So you got to be proactive about this so that way it's easier for you to resolve this. That's the whole point of that. So you can communicate with them like this, or you can talk to them on the phone. You can take control of their computer, using remote software like Dameware here. Just by, and this is something you're gonna have to do. Well, you don't have to do. You can actually set up their, drive remotely as well. If you just send them a batch script, that they just click and it just adds the drive for them. Or you can just ask them for their computer name, IP address, which they should know Usually on a desktop, there is an information, PC information or something like that icon that they open it up. And there's definitely a place in any company which will allow them to give you their computer name, which is also known as host name, or the IP address as it's indicated here. So that way you can connect and take control of their computer while you're adding the shared drive to their computer. All right. Now let's back up a little bit and get into showing an example of a shared drive that we're going to work with and give them access to first. All right, so just to make it simple, I went ahead and created a folder inside of H drive, and this H drive can be also mapped, but as far as user thinks, he thinks that that's the G drive, and we can make a G drive for them. That's not a problem. I'll show you that. That letter is basically non-relevant. You can call that any letter you want. What we really want to know is the path, the exact path of the shared drive. So this is just the properties of a folder called shared on my computer, and this could also be a computer, like a server. You typically is a server, but there are multiple ways of creating these shared folders. But here it is how it's done through Windows. So this is just a folder that I've created, and then I've created a share on it. Now this folder is shared. So you can literally go to your desktop like this, create a new folder. We're going to say shared folder. And you can go to properties, go to sharing, and then here is the new path for it. And then you can select share and this and that. So we're going to keep it simple by focusing on this other one. So this other folder that I shared properties of, the other folder is on my H drive. So we're going to share this folder. So here is the path. And in order to make sure that they have access to, we're going to click on secured. Well, you can do it through here too, but you can go click the share. And this is just one way of doing this. If you're doing this on a server, you can do it like this. Or there might be some kind of, it depends how restricted the company is that you work for. They might just have give you like a GUI access, like through a website or something like that. And that website will allow you to add people to specific shares. Okay, now we have to make sure that this person is added in there. Now, first of all, we can see that everyone is added in here, but if we want to specifically add this person, which was, what was the user's name? Mike Moser, right? So it's Mike that requested this. We will have to make sure that Mike is added in here. So we would look for Mike Moser, and Mike Moser is not going to show up on this because I haven't added him to the local profiles on my computer. So he's not going to be added in there. But this is what you would do. You would find him, and then you would simply click add. It's not going to work now because we can't find Mike Moser, and this is not a server that I'm working with. So nonetheless, we can add him in there, but in this case, we actually don't have to because we have everyone set to read. Now we're going to make sure that this is set to read and write, so they can people that have access to this can read content of it and write to it, meaning creating new files and folders. So this is fine. We don't have to add him in here because he's already added. Okay, and then we can see the same thing when we go to security properties of this folder, that everyone is also added in there, and they have read, execute, and well, they don't have write. Let's see, did I update? Read and write. Did I update this? Maybe I just clicked cancel. That's right, yeah. So I didn't apply, sorry. So read and write, click share. Okay, so we're going to do it through the other one because I don't feel like... Is it going to ask me? It might. Probably will. Probably will. So this is how you do it through here. We're going to check write. So it's the same thing I just did, but it's going to let me do it through here. Then just a double check. Yeah. So it's overwritten and okay. Done. All right. So now we're going to access their computer. So we're going to go to the other computer. This is on my personal computer that I'm recording. We're going to go to the other one and we're going to pretend that's this user's computer, and then we're going to add this. So make sure you copy this path. Okay. All right. Now we're going to pretend that this is user's computer. By the way, the shared drive does not need to be on the same domain or anything like that. And now we're going to add it. And a simple way to add this, well, first of all, you can check to see if it works. In the Explorer here, in the Windows Explorer, we can just paste what we copied, and we can see that it's working right away. And that's what's inside of that shared folder. But they don't, when they go back, it doesn't appear in here. There is no G drive. Where is my G drive? So we're going to add a G drive. So when you click on computer, so again, you click on computer in the Explorer, map network drive, which by the way, you can also disconnect. If you have one, you can disconnect it there. So we're going to select map network drive. We're going to select G, and we're going to paste it. Now, if they have a specific login credentials that they need to use in order to access it, that's not necessarily tied to domain or anything, maybe like a local credentials for that server, you may have to click connect using different credentials. Okay, we don't have to do that here because they already have access. So we're just going to click finish, and here it is. It automatically opens, and now we can see that the G drive has been added. Okay, and we can see that how much space is in there and all of that. Okay, so that's how you do that. Let's go ahead and close the ticket. All right, now we're going to pretend like we've done all this on their computer, and we're going to close the ticket. We're just going to tell them that we've done it for them. They can see we've done it. We can ask them to test if that's, to confirm this and that. We're just going to say added shared drive to user's computer as requested. Irvin, which is I. Okay, and now we're going to close the ticket because it's done.